Hello there, makers of kindness. Welcome back to another YouTube video. Today we are going to be talking about smiling through the pain. What that means, does it help, and what to do if you think somebody else is doing it, basically, and you think they're covering up and not being honest with you. Stay tuned. So in a lot of the research that I looked at, I noticed that when people were talking about smiling through pain, a lot of it was temporary pain. For those with chronic illnesses, be it physical, mental, emotional, whatever, it probably doesn't help too much there. I did some research on the interwebs and I found like some blog posts and some other things that seemed pretty helpful, like Wikipedia. Who knew? No, I'm just kidding. Wikipedia is great. Sorry, I have notes. So I'm telling you that I have notes. They're right here. Whatever, self. Be kind to myself. Get through it. You can do it. So a lot of times when we're having a bad day, we try and say, just get through it. Just get through it. Get to the end of it. And sometimes we'll have people be like, hey, if you smile, if you treat it like it's going to be fine, it'll be fine. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes it doesn't. We all do it to a degree. Some of us do it a little bit more than others. There was a comedian who was listed in a blog post that I'll link in the description, who mentioned her having a chronic illness, and she would fall down because I think it was her muscle tissue wasn't doing the things it should do. And she would fall down and she would like really injure herself. But if she was with somebody, she would laugh and smile through it to try and make them feel better. There's plenty of memes that show people like trying to laugh through the pain. I mean, like there's one of BTS specifically. So like a lot of K-pop bands are forced to work crazy hours, and sometimes it causes them to like pass out on stage or just have all of these problems. And we all know that like forced smile of somebody who just wants to get to the end of the day and like really doesn't want anybody to question it, doesn't want anyone to talk about it. So I was curious to know if smiling really did kind of help mitigate some of the pain that people are going through. Wikipedia helped me find some interesting things, and some other articles helped me as well. Apparently, the idea of smiling and it making you happy is called facial feedback. And it happens with other facial expressions too. I think if you're doing a more angry face or a sad face, you tend to kind of lean towards that emotionally. But that hypothesis was sort of first formed by Charles Darwin and William James, I believe. And I believe they did an experiment around 1988 that involved holding pens in your mouth in a different way. Either you held the pen in your mouth with your lips closed and it kind of mimicked more of a frown, or you held it in your mouth with your teeth, which mimicked more of like a smile, as far as like facial things go. And I think the participants were told to do a different activity with the pen in their mouth so that they didn't know that that was what the study was being done on. So that way they didn't get as much bias in there, I guess. Everyone who tried to replicate it or tried a different way of doing the study found to a degree that facial expressions did affect mood, at least a little bit, So it's kind of interesting, Oh, another article found that laughing and smiling actually cuts down our cortisol levels, which, don't quote me on this, but I tried to read it correctly, means that your pain tolerance goes up as well. So people who are laughing, who are smiling, sometimes can deal with, I guess, higher amounts of pain than people who aren't. Maybe that's why people, try and say laughter is the best medicine and try and bring all the fun stuff into hospitals. There's good nurses and good doctors out there who try their best. Eyelash. Eyelash, why? Sorry. I'm sick today. It's not great, but I'm going to do this. So if you're feeling down today, we're going to take a moment. We're going to try and distract our brains. It's pretty simple. We're going to sit up straight. We're going to take a deep breath in relative to what a deep breath is for you. And we're going to smile. And we're going to smile with your eyebrows. Find out where your eyebrows live when they smile. So are they raised? Are they doing weird things? We're smiling with our mouth. We're smiling with our eyebrows. Try crinkling maybe the corner of your eyes. Get those laugh lines in there. Involve your eyebrows, your eyes, your mouth. What does your nose do when you smile? If something's really... Oh gosh, I'm going to start laughing doing that. That's weird. What does your nose do when you smile? Like mine either will flare, sometimes it'll scrunch if I'm like really smiling big. So go through, your eyebrows, your eyes, your nose, your mouth. What do all of those different facial features do when you smile? And I want to try and activate it all at the same time. We're smiling. We're going to hold it for another second. Maybe we should add a little laugh in there, just a nice, get your big smile face on. Oh gosh, no, it's creepy. We're not going to do that. We're going to skip over the laugh. But if you want to add a laugh to it, go ahead. And just kind of let it settle in your body. Let it live there. And we're going to release it. There we go. Good job, you guys. I'm proud of you. Smiling is a full face activity, Nobody just smiles. It's really hard for me to do that. It looks really weird on the screen, too. I'm sorry about that. But what do you do when you think somebody is smiling to avoid talking about their pain, talking about what's going on in their life? Maybe you have a friend who is struggling with physical illness or having a particularly bad mental health day. Maybe you don't even know. Maybe you don't know this person super well, but they just feel off and you want to address it with them, but you don't know how. So let's talk about some steps that you could do that might be helpful for you. And this is all subjective. Everyone's different. Everyone has their own things that work for them and other stuff that doesn't work for them. But I always think communication helps. If you don't talk to somebody about something, then you don't know. And you can't do anything about it if you don't know. The first thing to do would be to take note of your surroundings. And take note of the person. Did this just happen? Were they fine a minute ago and then all of a sudden did something hit them? What are you noticing specifically? Have they been like this all day? Did they walk into the office like that? Did they meet you for breakfast and they just looked upset? And take note of where you are. Is it a work environment? Is it a really public location? Is it somewhere that they would feel uncomfortable opening up? Because if the answer is yes to that, probably best not to try and get an honest answer from them in that location. Is there someone around who they don't feel safe around? Is there something that might be triggering them? If you don't know, find a way to get them out of that environment and into a safe location if you think the environment might be a trigger for them. So once you're in a safe location, then, the best thing to do is ask, right? Hey, how are you? You seem a little down right now. Or I noticed you don't quite seem like yourself. Is something going on? Now, the key to this is really patience. So even if I go, hey, how are you? Oh, you can take your time if you need to. That's not me letting them process the question. That's not me letting them figure out what words they need to use, because then they have to process that second statement. Then they have to think of the words, okay, cool, I can do that. But you're changing their thought pattern when you talk again. I am not actively listening to them. So silence is not an enemy in that instance. If they're taking a beat or two, it's probably because they're thinking about how best to address it. Maybe it's a sensitive subject. Maybe it's something going on in their life and they're trying to figure out if they can say anything yet. Maybe it's time sensitive. Maybe it just happened or it's been going on for years, but it's just now getting bad. You don't know. So let the silence sit, give them room to breathe and process in their own time, and let them have the freedom to say it the way they need to say it. Now, when they answer, you have to be careful because you don't want to shut it down. If they say, there's some stuff going on, I don't know if I really want to talk about it, that might be something like maybe they just need to sit down and rest for a minute and then you can go back to it later. That might be they don't want to hurt your feelings, so maybe you have to figure out a way to open the door for them better to talk about it. In those kind of instances, you can always affirm that, hey, I'm here to listen to you. If you need anything, I am here. I'm doing nothing else. I'm not going to judge you for how you say it. You can always go back and explain further if I don't understand something that you're saying, or if I'm confused by something you say, we can clarify later, so you don't have to worry about the language that you use. Now, if you say that, you have to mean it. You opened the door to the conversation, so you have to understand that sometimes when people are talking about hard subjects, they don't know the right words to use. So you have to give them room to explain themselves. You have to give them room to say what they need to say and then help fix it for clarity and kindness after sometimes. If they don't want to talk about it, they don't have to talk about it. If somebody says, hey, I'm fine, and you ask again, are you sure you're okay? Because it's a safe zone. Like, I'm here. There's nobody else around. I'm fine. That's probably a sign they don't really want to talk about it right now. Don't push it. You don't know. Maybe the walls are up because they have to keep a certain amount of wall up in order to get through the rest of the day. I know that if I'm at work, even if somebody pulled me aside at work and was like, hey, are you okay? And I was having a really bad day, in my head, I would be like, I would love to talk about it, but I know that I have a meeting in 15 minutes, and if I start talking now, I'm going to have a 20-minute cry, and so I'm going to look horrible by the time the meeting comes around. Think about those kind of things to make sure that you have the time to actually take to listen to them. If you don't have the time to do it, either find the time in a different time, or maybe don't worry about it right now, because it's not going to help them if they can't fully get out the emotions that they need to get out, and you're not going to be as helpful as you want to be. And very lastly, just be supportive. If someone opens up to you, you don't know what to do, ask them what would help them. If this is a venting situation, if it's problem solving, just ask. It feels weird. It feels like we should be intuitive with all that. I should know by now if this is a venting situation or if this is a problem-solving situation. If they say, I'm just venting, then let them vent. Emotionally validate the crap out of them. Be like, I'm sorry you're feeling that way. That sucks. That situation is not fun. You should not have to be in that. I'm really sorry all that is happening to you. If they're looking for a solution and you give them all of that emotional support and validation without any solution, then it starts to feel like their solution is non-existent. That's so callous. It hurts. Vice versa, if somebody is giving them solutions, well, have you researched this? Have you done that? Have you considered these different options? All of that is great, but if they just need somebody to vent to about it, all of that feels like you're invalidating their emotions. I know that's probably not your intent. We all mean kindness when we're trying to find solutions to things, usually. We all mean kindness when we're trying to validate people's emotions. But if you do it in the wrong situation, it comes off as callous whether or not you mean it to. But at the end of the day, be kind, be a friend, and be aware. You never know what somebody else is going through. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you have a good day. Bye. So YouTube likes to do that thing where they post videos here. Here might be a video. I don't know if there's going to be two. I only have 2 videos on this channel, but here might be another one. Who knows?